The Andromeda Galaxy is far away from our own planet, but the astrophilites who populate it have made contact with our people several times. From our conversations with them, we have been able to learn about their religion, their beliefs about the universe, and their homes. The galaxy they come from is very colorful. They told us to imagine what a rainbow looks like here on Earth for comparison. Every planet is made up of different rocks and gems. Our local astrophilite diplomat told us his home planet was in fact made of rubies. Their galaxy contains a multitude of stars orbited by these rocky planets. The astrophilites have to survive harsh conditions humans could not live in by evolving to eat rocks, as no vegetation is able to grow in the galaxy. From this wondrous foreign land emerged a massive pantheon of gods, each with their own sprawling mythology and entertaining stories. Come join us as we explore the story of the Andromedans.
According to the Astrophilite mythos, Time, as an anthropomorphized being, was tired of being alone and was bored, so he pricked his finger with his nail. The dark blood that flowed from his finger became the current of the universe. That's why, according to the Astrophilites, space appears to be so dark.
Time was a being who, in the past and today, did not interfere much with the workings of the universe he created. He created the god Grande and the goddess Venti for his own amusement and company in the emptiness of the void. Grande and Venti only had each other in the beginning, and as a result, they became really close. Later, Grande desired to have more beings around him, so Time created the goddess Voldir. However, Grande and Voldir never got along. Voldir's commanding presence intimidated and infuriated Grande. This was made worse when Venti declared she wanted to stay a virgin. Time arranged for Grande and Voldir to get married to populate the universe. Later, Venti became bored with the lack of action in the universe, so she proposed to Time to have a contest between Grande and Voldir to see who got to rule the universe. Time loved her idea, and so the contest was held. Voldir and Grande presented gifts to Time, and Time declared that the winner would be whoever created his favorite gift. Voldir created the first comet, while Grande created a dark orb. Voldir resoundingly won the contest, so she got the title of Empress of the Gods. Grande was bitter, but accepted his lower position. The relationship between Grande and Voldir would only continue to deteriorate past this point. Time, in his joy, turned the comet that Voldir created into the goddess Sphinx. Time then created the god Bamir from a piece of rock that shot off from Voldir's comet to commemorate the great competition.
The highest god in the Andromedan pantheon, as mentioned, is Voldir, the empress of the gods and goddess of the stars and planets. The planet Aurelia is sacred to her, and she is represented by stars. The goddess is usually described as a redhead with 3 purple eyes who is tall and somewhat muscular. She's married to Grande, god of darkness. He's usually depicted as an older, tall, lean man with jet black hair, a long flowing beard, thin furrowed lips, black eyes, and an angular face. He's represented by his black cloak. Grande's sister Venti is the goddess of gravity and is a maiden virgin. She is usually shown to be a teenager with brown hair, 1 green eye, and 1 blue eye. Venti is known to be a youthful goddess who spends time frolicking in space and playing with gravity. She's represented by the emerald. Obsidian is the daughter of Voldir and Grande, and the goddess of gems, geology, and the harvest. She's the magna mater of the astrophilites, having created them. She's described to be muscular with eyes made of sapphires, gray lips, and pink hair. She is represented by gems, especially sapphires, her sacred pickaxe, and her helmet. Bamir is the god of asteroids, conflict, and competition, and is represented by asteroids and his iron spear. He's usually depicted as a very muscular man with gray hair, 6 orange eyes, sharp brows, and red lips. Bamir is married to Sphinx, the goddess of comets. She is described as having cat-like eyes, full lips, short red hair, and red hands. Sphinx is represented with cats, comets, and blood. Debris is the son of Bamir and Sphinx and the god of meteorites. He's usually depicted as a teenager with a unibrow, black eyes, green hair, small lips, and a short, pale figure. He is represented by his meteorites. He is in love with Venti, but she is repulsed by him. The goddess Noir was created from the first star Voldir created. She is the goddess of black holes and is shown to have curly black hair, pink eyes, small black lips, and a curvy figure. She is usually represented with black holes and black rocks. Cephalix is Noir and Voldir's daughter and is the goddess of light, heat, and speed of light. She is known to be a nice, humble goddess who provided light to the astrophilites. However, she could be quite wrathful when angered, punishing wrongdoers by blinding them with a searing light and fire. She is usually depicted with long golden hair, golden glowing eyes, a short round face, full lips, and 4 arms, and she is represented by light and fire. Cataclysm is Noir's twin, born of the same event, and she is the goddess of supernovas. She is represented by supernovas and her flying carpet. Cataclysm is an asexual virgin, uninterested in marriage. She is usually depicted with white eyes, sparkly hair, 4 arms and hands, and a curvy figure. Mystic is the god of UFOs and spacecraft and is the trickster of the pantheon. He's shown to have a short, muscular figure with 1 eye and lavender-colored hair. He is represented by his spaceships.
Necrosis is the god of death and decay. He is the child of Grande and Noir from their affair. He is depicted as 9 foot tall and muscular. He has red eyes, short white hair, a huge scar across his cheek, the origins of which we do not know, and sharp teeth. His symbols are skulls and tombstones. Interstellar is the goddess of nebulas. She is the daughter of Voldir and Cephalix. She is commonly shown as being tall and skinny. She has 1 purple and 1 blue eye, freckles, purple lips, dark blue hair that looks like a cloud, and her symbols are clouds and fog. Kyanite is the god of water and ice. He is the son of Bamir and Sphinx. He is often depicted with wild blue hair, green eyes, blue skin, and webbed hands and feet. His symbols are icebergs, bodies of water, fish, and snow. He fits the sea god archetype. Ozone is the god of air. He is the son of Kyanite and Cephalix. He is shown as being bald, tall, having blue eyes, and wings like that of a bird. His symbols are birds and the color blue. The following gods are minor gods. Hematite is the goddess of communication. She is the child of Obsidian. Obsidian created her when she saw that the astrophilites were not able to live with each other, as they had no way of making the others understand them. Sick of the ensuing conflict, Obsidian took out her molar tooth and planted it in the ground. From that, Hematite was born. Hematite had short, spiky gray hair, 2 mouths, brown eyes, was short in stature, and had a mustache. Symbols Hematite is commonly associated with are tongues, mouths, stone tablets, and teeth. Kamai is the goddess of sleep and dreams, and the daughter of Grande and Cephalix. She was raised by Cephalix separately from her brother. Kamai is a teenager with gray eyes, long gray hair, and a short, curvy figure. She is represented by a bed, pillows, and blankets. Melanite is Kamai's older brother, and the god of sleep deprivation and nightmares. He was raised separately from Kamai by Grande, so Voldir hates him and constantly tries to kill him. Also, the 2 siblings despise each other. He is a teenager with long black hair, red eyes, prominent under eye bags, stubble, and furrowed brows. Melanite is represented by eyes and people who are screaming and crying. Graphite is the androgynous deity of arts and creativity, and is the child of Hematite. They were created when Hematite laughed for the first time. They are represented by pencils, paints, clay, and markers. They have rainbow hair, sky blue eyes, green lips, a tall curvy figure, and 10 fingers on each hand. Engel is the god of invention and engineering. He was born from the first thought of the first astrophyllite. He led to the creation of Mystic, as when he created the first spaceship and it exploded, Mystic was born from the debris. He is tall, depicted with sharp angular features, a sharp jawline, knobbly knees and elbows, and brown hair. He is represented by a ruler, a protractor, a microscope, a wrench, and metal nails. Fedya is the goddess of education, learning, study, and the daughter of Graphite and Engel. She is usually depicted as a beautiful woman with glasses, hazel eyes, black hair pulled into a loose bun, and a short, curvy figure. She is represented by writing, cave inscriptions, and garnets.
The astrophilites were created by the goddess Obsidian when she found a beautiful rock on one of Voldier's planets and swallowed it. She spit out the first astrophilite, a woman, along with the rock. She gave the rock to the first astrophilite, who loved it so much that it turned into the first man. From there, the astrophilites began and spread throughout the Andromeda galaxy, worshipping Obsidian as their mother goddess. The astrophilites are thought to be bystanders, rather than heroes or villains, in their universe.
Backstory. Agate was an astronomer and a worship of Fedya. One night, he was out in the moonlight studying Aurelia, a planet that happened to be Voldier's favorite planet. Voldier saw this and was pleased, so she disguised herself as a beautiful young astronomer and seduced him. From this one-night stand, Citrine was born. Years later, an earthquake occurred on the planet Agate and Citrine were living on. This earthquake was caused by the goddess Obsidian because she was angry at the astrophilites for not respecting and worshiping her. The earthquake was so big that the planet had begun cracking apart. Citrine did not want her people to die, so she tried to plead to Obsidian for forgiveness, but Obsidian refused to stop. Citrine felt that there was no hope left, and she was ready to accept her fate, which was death. But in a tragic, shocking turn of events, Citrine's father died from a fatal fall into the cracking ground. It was at this moment that Citrine decided that she was going to save her people in memory of her father. So in an act of desperation, Citrine began preparing to travel. Mystic then visited Citrine and promised to help her in her journey. He provided her with a special ship that could travel to the gods. Meanwhile, there was drama amongst the gods. Grande was angry that Voldier cheated on him, so when Citrine set out to travel in space, he obscured her path to try and ensure her demise. However, Mystic, wanting to mess with Grande, created an identical spaceship and drew Grande's efforts to that one. This allowed Citrine to continue on her journey. When Grande found out Mystic's deceit, he got even more angry and cursed Mystic's spacecraft to be filled with darkness. However, Cephalix, goddess of light and daughter of Voldier, helped Mystic by providing him with light to be affixed to the front of his spacecraft, ensuring their pilots the ability to see their path. Citrine then reached Voldier and asked for her to save the planet, but Voldier said she couldn't save the planet herself because she would make Obsidian more angry, and Obsidian would destroy even more planets. But Voldier promised Citrine that she would try to convince Obsidian to stop it. Obsidian said that she was willing to save the planet, but only if Citrine completed a set of trials to prove her people's worthiness of life. First, Obsidian wanted Citrine to get her a new type of gem from a planet far away and bring it back. Then Obsidian wanted Citrine to do an order of operations math question backwards and get it right. Lastly, Obsidian wanted Citrine to go back to her planet, retrieve her father's lifeless body, and bring it back to Obsidian so that she could revive him. Citrine struggled, but she was able to complete all of the trials. Obsidian then healed Citrine's planet and gave her a token of her blessing, which was her favorite ring. So Citrine started heading home. Grande tried to stop her again, but Citrine presented Obsidian's gift to him. He recognized that Citrine had received the favor of his daughter, so he allowed her to continue her journey back home with her father.
Necrosis, when angered by the Astrophilites' lack of respect towards him, decided to take his revenge. He unleashed the spirits he collected as the god of death. When they left the spirit world, they turned into horrific rocky beasts called phlogopytes. They appeared to have bones and skin like a normal person, but where eyes should have been, there was instead a deep, maddening darkness. They were destructive creatures, tearing apart Astrophilites, breaking down their homes, and swallowing children. The Astrophilites were terrorized for 7 long days and nights. A group of the strongest Astrophilites on the planet Aurelia traveled to the altar for Necrosis and begged him for release from the Phlogopytes. They promised to build him a large temple and fill it every day with offerings to the mighty god. Finally, Necrosis relented and took the escaped spirits back to the spirit world, allowing the Astrophilites to live in peace again. Thus, the Astrophilites on Aurelia created the largest temple dedicated to Necrosis. Every day, priests fill the altar inside with precious stones, water, and mercury to appease the god and make sure he never unleashes the Phlogopytes again.
Backstory. Rose Quartz was a beautiful young woman that Noir was seduced by. They had a child named Rhodonite from their affair. Noir later broke Rose Quartz's heart when she left without saying a word. Rhodonite was an androgynous deity of heartbreak. They are the embodiment of the pain Rose Quartz felt when Noir left. Baumir and Grande were having an affair. It was a toxic love. Grande was planning to imprison Voldir and take over as the Emperor of the Gods, while Baumir was going to rule by his side and cause conflict amongst the Astrophilites as they no longer interested him. They devised a plan to defeat Voldir by creating the monster Monazite. The Monazite was controlled by Baumir. It has 12 eyes, no mouth, which is the mark of Baumir's control over it, and 6 muscular arms. The Monazite is gigantic in size, with scales covering its entire body. The Monazite wields powerful magic provided by the darkness within Grande, and this allowed the beast to transfigure objects and people, as well as cause clouds of pain and confusion from afar. It was a bloodthirsty creature, always hungry for Astrophilites. Because the Monazite could not eat, it would absorb its prey by squeezing them with all 6 of its arms. To stop Grande and Baumir from releasing this monster on Voldir, Rhodonite threw a dagger with their magic infused into it at Baumir's heart, causing him to feel heartbroken and to break off his relationship with Grande. When Rhodonite made Baumir feel heartbroken with Grande, Baumir was about to unleash Monazite on Grande. However, Baumir's wife Sphinx, who was aware of his affair, cooled him down and convinced him to lock away Monazite safely. He approached Voldir and asked for help to lock up Monazite. They came up with a foolproof plan. Baumir tricked Monazite into following him into the core of a star with the promise of a feast. However, Voldir was the only one there, and she sealed him in the star. Monazite's furiousness led him to kicking and fighting to break out of the star. However, he was stuck forever. He continues to fight, as seen by the movement on the surface of the star he was trapped in. Someday, that star will collapse, and Monazite will be unleashed, once more, freed from Baumir's rule. That time will be the end of the Astrophilites and the gods.
The mythology of the Astrophilites is fascinating, but not so different from the polytheistic religions found on Earth. The anthropomorphization of their gods, in particular, is something we see here a lot. The Astrophilites' stories and gods reveal the importance placed in the natural world around them, as well as the behaviors and laws that intrigue them. From our contact with their representatives, we've learned a lot about the true universality of what we thought to be patterns of human nature and actions. In time, perhaps we can reach new people in our exploration of the final frontier and understand not only the actions of otherworldly beings, but also those of mankind.